Hello and welcome. This is Fireworks. Many different reasons have been attributed to the killings in southern Kaduna. It's been called ethnic, religious, political. Some even attribute it to banditry, while others say it's as a result of a land dispute recurring over decades. Whatever it is that sets off the southern Kaduna killings, one thing is incontrovertible: it continues. Today we seek a deeper understanding into the causes of the killings in this part of Nigeria. We seek from someone who's directly affected. Let's take a short break and we'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned. I am Bukola Samuel Webimo. Today I take on the president of the Southern Kaduna People's Union, Mr. Solomon Musa. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Now, it's not clear whatever it is that sets off the killing, so that's where we're going to start from. You've been president for how long?
1 year, 2 months.
1 year, 2 months.
Yes.
But you've been resident in Kaduna for some time.
For a long time.
For a long time. You're an indigene,
yes.
So you're affected. Tell us, what are the causes, or what's the cause?
It appears that as a result of nature's bounty and blessings to southern Kaduna, that some people have made up their minds that they must take over the lands. They must displace us. They must supplant us. They must take possession by force. They must conquer us at all costs in this era, in this dispensation, in this generation. They want to do that. So it appears at the heart of it is actually a deep quest, a deep desire to take over the land and displace us. Yeah.
So you are the true indigenes. You are the owners of the land,
yes.
so to speak.
Yes, we
were
are
born here.
Born there. We have, for example, our organization Sokapu has registered with 53 ethnic nationalities, registered with Sokapu. We have over 60 distinct ethnic nationalities in southern Kaduna. And so we've been there for generations, many generations. But you see
So who are these people who want to take over the land?
Well, it will be, if you are talking of specific identity, it's a little difficult for us to say, okay, this person. But I tell you this, the governor was generous enough, kind enough to give us a clue. He told us that, look, the people who have been attacking us come from 14 African countries, that they are the transhumans that come to graze, and then that were caught in the mire of the 2011 post-election crisis. Then that's the first person. So we have identity, at least coming from the governor of Kaduna State. Number two, the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association also have kindly come out. Well, let me use the word kindly in quotation marks. They have come out to tell us, and look, the killings are as a result of reprisal attacks, which means they've taken responsibility for the killings. They know the identity of the killers, and just like the governor also knows the identity of the killers, the governor has reached out to them, the governor has paid them compensation. You don't pay compensation to people you do not know. And the Cattle Breeders Association have come out also to take responsibility. There are people who have come out to say so.
If you say something is reprisal in nature,
yes.
Every reaction is caused by an action.
That's
it suggests that there has been an initial attack before a reprisal action was taken. Yeah. So were there attacks prior to these series of attacks that provoked these series of attacks perpetrated by the southern Kaduna people?
You see, it's actually, we live in an age where some persons, even persons in high places in authority, want to revise narratives. They want to revisit history. Now, let me take you to 2011. because the whole justification is given as reprisal arising from post-election crisis that took place in 2011. Now, in 2011, the reports are there. You access on your system Human Rights Watch report. You access newspaper reports. You access media reports for the post-election crisis in 2011. Now, when you access all of them, you will discover that the reports all agree on one thing, that there was violence immediately the election results began to come out on 17th of April, 2011. Violence in 12 northern states. Now, I stress, in 12 northern states. And that the people that were killed in the 12 northern states are in the figure of 800. All the reports without fail agree on that. 800 lives. And that in 12 northern states. But for Kaduna State, opposite to Kaduna State, that the violence actually started in Kaduna metropolis, went on to Zaria, to Igabi, to Giwa, etc. These are all in the northern parts of the state, not in the southern parts of the state. And that the killings actually started
in the northern part.
In the northern parts, not the southern parts. And that the killings actually, there was a resistance, because that's what happened. The second or the third day in southern Kaduna, because people were not only being killed in the northern parts, but then there were attempts also to attack us in the southern parts. And that was that. So, but what the governor comes out to tell the world, in fact, I watched recently when he said, very strange, that between 600 to 1,000 people were killed in southern Kaduna alone. That is absolutely not true. That is absolutely not the correct narratives in all cases. Let me tell you, in all cases, no southern Kaduna man.
Let's agree on one thing now.
Yes.
That 2011 violence that you talked about was political.
Yes.
It had nothing to do with the ethnic tension or religious tension or economic dispute in southern Kaduna.
That's right.
And most of the violence took place in northern Kaduna in 2011. Okay, continue.
Yes, so that's the position. But after that wave of violence, all of a sudden we began to see killings, like a place called Bondo in Kaura local government, where in a single night, 148 people were sent to their early graves. They were mowed down, they were killed, there was a lot of rape, maiming, destruction, arson of property. The same thing, Sanga, 2012, 2013, 2014, and of course, 2015. Now, the governor has, with very deep sense of responsibility, some of his pronouncements have appeared actually to stoke the fire of violence, to encourage.
But in fairness to the governor, he's also said that the government is responsive as against what people are saying about government's response being inadequate, being slow, that following the killings, they've deployed an army to restore peace and to give everyone, quoting him now, everyone, irrespective of where you're coming from, whether north or south, a sense of safety. So in fairness to the governor, he said that.
He said that. You see, he has not been walking the talk. Now, let me tell you, and that's the reality. This killing heightened in May 2016. When the killings heightened, read, Google, and see all the press statements issued by Sokapo. We began to call. We said, look, send security personnel to the bushes, the flashpoints, the mountains, the caves, the forests. That was never done throughout, and yet the camps
from about May, when the killings began,
to December last year, security personnel were not deployed. That's number one. Number two, security that were sent to southern Kaduna were actually more on the highways alone. I personally went there. And this was captured. They were only on the highways. And we used to ask, why is it that you do not go to the bushes? They will tell you they do not have directives to go to the bushes, to go and confront the attackers. Number 3, in Mississippi Village, around October or November, in Jama local government, security, well, at least people drove in a Hilux vehicle. They wore military uniform. Now, they drove through the highway where security personnel were there, and they demanded to have a meeting with the village head of Mississippi Village, an 85-year-old man. And he called 6 other people, and within a short time, they were all shot dead. And the people wearing military uniform left. Number 4, we kept asking, we kept crying, please, let's have military formation in those places. And the military formation were never taken there. Lastly, we kept crying out for aerial survey, intelligence gathering. We didn't see that happening at all. Then, usually what normally happens, the preoccupation of the security personnel that time was, once there's an attack, if there's an attack, a village is under attack, they will not move in. Immediately after the attack, then they will move in ostensibly with the manifest intention of disarming all the people who are in their houses trying to defend themselves with cudgels, with machetes, with cutlasses. Then they will, these are the people that they focus on, not on the attackers. They were not bothered about confronting the attackers. So when the governor says that, yes, we have given everybody an opportunity, we've deployed security personnel. Remember, this is within public domain, that actually security personnel were largely deployed in December, and the reason why security personnel were deployed in December was not to protect the people largely. It was because the governor went in December to Kafanchan and women protested. Immediately after the protest, the governor slammed 24 hours curfew. And you also remember, while the whole land was under 24 hours curfew, Goska community came under serious and severe attack for 24 hours. Yet Goska is just 5 kilometers from Kafanchan, where there was a heavy deployment of security personnel. They were not prepared, they received information, and information is normally received. Now, lastly, I'm sure you may not know this. In Samaru Kataf, this January, 3 youths in the market were just shot dead. Just shot dead by, so-called unknown gunmen. Now, where they were shot dead is just like 100 meters from a major police checkpoint. Before they were shot dead, actually, a letter was received. We will attack you. A letter was received. We will attack you. And the people in Samaru reported this matter to security agencies. They did nothing. Now, they were attacked.
We have agreed on something, that some elements, whether coming from outside Nigeria, Niger, Cameroon, want to take over the land that rightfully belongs to you. We've also agreed that the 2011 violence, that occurred throughout the north and in northern Kaduna may have been as a result of the post-election violence in that year. But we haven't quite established the many other causes or consequences that have fueled this attack. And that's where I'm headed. But that will be after the break. You're watching Fireworks, and I have with me the president of the Southern Kaduna People's Union in the person of Mr. Solomon Musa. Stay with us. We'll be right back.